Hello everybody, my name's Matt with Fabricating Firewood, and today is the day. I finally got my firewood bundler done, and now it's time to split some wood. So today what I'm going to do is get the excavator fired up, take it over to where all the large rounds are. I'm going to cut those down to size, and then if I still have time before I get too tired, because I've been up since 4 a.m. this morning because I worked today, I'm going to go over and pick up some of those logs and then bring them over to the staging area and buck those up as well. So it's going to be my first opportunity to use the Workbrow root rake that I got. It's an 18-inch wide root rake, and I've had it for about, I'm going to say 3 weeks, but I haven't had a chance to do anything with it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Some of these pieces are just way too big to manhandle. Just odds and ends that we got from Martinsville a couple years ago. Pick this up. Still learning how to do the thumb and the bucket at the same time so that I can extend it, still keep grip of it like that. There we go. Trying to get it up on its side. There we go. So now hopefully I can pick up just a little tidbit of it here. Sometimes you just gotta pick it up how you can. Picks this thing up like it's nothing. Yeah, now I wish they would come out with a firmware fix or something to make it to where the thumb will work without having to keep enabling it. Seems kind of a stupid thing for my application. If it were maybe like for a jackhammer or something, or a brush cutter. But for my application right now, it's just easier to get in and just activate the thumb without having to push the button. Thing about the 500i, if I'm not mistaken, is it has a memory on it for the fuel injection, the electronic fuel injection. So after you get done using it, you can't just turn it off. You have to let it run for about 30 seconds so that it can remember idle. Because if you're running it at full tilt and then you just switch it off, when it goes to start up again, what'll happen is it'll try to start it up with its last known fuel consumption. If that is full tilt, it'll try and start and it'll flood it. I tried to get with WorkBrow and see if they could make a 16-inch or maybe a 14-inch or a 12-inch root rake. They're like, nah, because that would allow me to get a little bit of a better handle on this for the 16-inch pieces. But 18 inches is all they would do. So the chattering that you're seeing on the chainsaw, from what I can opine, is that it is a high-speed, low-torque, fuel-injected 500i chainsaw. So it doesn't take much to stop it as far as torque. And this is some heavy-duty oak. And it's not that the blade isn't sharp, because I've already, I sharpened it, properly tensioned, full of fuel and bar oil. So that's not the issue. The issue is that it's just high speed, lower torque than like one of the heavier CC models that has a metric butt ton of torque but lower speed. I think it was Chris maybe that did a video on that where he was timing a 500i with one of his Husqvarnas Chris on in the wood yard, and what he did was test it between the hardwoods and the softwoods, and it made sense. The 500i likes the softwoods, it rips right through it, and the low torque or high torque, lower speed carbureted saws that he had ripped right through that oak with no issue. This holds. Nobody's business. So this piece, if I cut it at exactly 16 inches, it's going to give me about a 10-inch piece. So what I like to do is cut it in half and give me two equal pieces that are just under 16 inches. So even though you have to waste a little bit of fuel using the 500i, leaving it idle for about 30 seconds so that it'll remember, hey, when I start back up, I'm at idle and it doesn't flood. It's no different than having to run this KX040 at a higher RPM so that it does less regens. And when I spoke with Larry at Edwards Equipment, asked him why my excavator was doing so many regens, he said that it needs to be at a higher RPM so that it cleans itself or whatever it does to have to do less regens. So what I'm doing now is getting ready to move these rounds that I just bucked from the big tree service wood and put them where I can actually get to them easily. The heavier they are, because right where they're at now is where the Eastimate is going to go tomorrow. Cannot tell you how much I am loving this excavator right now. If you were on the fence, I mean, don't go into an unreasonable amount of debt to do it, but you can't afford it. But this thing, for me, is totally justified. I mean, it's already paid for itself in doing the French drain project, in my opinion. Financially, no, but it's probably paid for a third, if not a half, because my French drain project was pretty big. Not to mention it's going to be used to do the pond dredging. And when I got an estimate for a company to come out and use a long arm hoe or excavator, one of those big old suckers, and then dig it out completely and make it a little bit bigger, they wanted 30 grand. So that being the case, 30 grand plus another 20 to 25 grand that it would have cost me to have somebody do the French drain water line and propane line, with the amount of digging that it took, not a French drain typical as in like just a couple feet deep. I'm talking minimum 48 inches deep up to 7 foot deep at the east end of the property in between the containers. It was 7.5 to 8 feet deep. So that right there was also a contributing factor to me getting this, because that backhoe just did not want to do the job. Now I'm going to, I can't reach it. I'm going to split the cookie. I split the cookies as well, because I give those to a friend. I put them in a one of those IBC cages, and then I let my son and his buddy and a friend of mine come over and get them whenever they want. I did learn from DIY Dude Network to keep your rounds away from where you're going to be lifting your logs, because he snapped his log lift lever, arm, whatever you want to call it, right off of the machine. And watching the videos, it appears as though it took him about 2 weeks to get it operational again, to use the log lift. So I want to keep that stuff, these logs, far enough away. And my wife only needs just a little bit of room to drive. And it's as far as I can reach. So I need to bring this in and move it. And the good thing is I can use this dozer blade to push them out of the road if I need to. The bad thing is that the tracks are tearing up the driveway. Good news is I can fix it with my tractor. So I have the technology. I got this quicker done. I got this done quicker than I thought I would. Like, no joke. I was literally about to pull the trigger on getting USA chain, or I can't remember the name of the company. It's basically a USA company that makes to order agricultural and commercial roller chain, and I got a quote for 50 feet roll of the chain with the links on it to attach the paddles to replace that stupid green belt on the conveyor, because the Range Road hadn't had a retrofit come in yet, and I was about to pull the trigger. It was about $800 something, and just before I did, I figured, I'll go ahead and give them a call and or email just to see if they've gotten those in yet. And his response was, we are about a week or two from getting them in, so I'm gonna wait. That is dangerous. So my chap was caught on the track lever. I need to definitely watch that. Figure out how to get this thing vertical so I can cut it in half. It's not a good spot. There we go. Oh my God, that's so much easier. This is what I had to do before. Get close to the rocks. Take a chance of hitting the blade. I had to flip it over. Ugh. But it was that big versus this small. Ugh. So I can pick both these up at the same time. Yeah. That's sugar maple. That's some heavy stuff. But it's not as dense as the oak, which is why it cut way quicker. I got this wood probably, I want to say, fall of 22. And it's been sitting ever since, because this is the big stuff that split fire wouldn't even touch. I mean, this is about 34, 36 inches in diameter in front of me. And I don't even know if I can get a grip on this gobstopper. Yeah, there we go. And the excavator. Oop, I don't know what I'm doing. Big mamma jamma right here. It's been here so long, it's got mushrooms all over it. Big old piece of oak right here. Oh, that's heavy. This thing is awesome. Not only does it grab it, it grabs it tight and holds it. Now it's not pinched as much as it is, I believe, just caught on chips. Now I'm going to cut this in half. It's just me tomorrow. And that's it. I absolutely love doing this. Oh, that is heavy. Oh, ain't no way I'm picking that up. That is sugar maple. Oh. This is pine. This is what it's all about. I really, really like doing this. I liked doing it before I had the excavator. Now I really like doing it. It was a little sketchy doing it before, climbing up part way the log stacks. Like for instance the ones over there that are about 10 foot long and anywhere from 12 to 24 inches in diameter. Climbing up that stack was a little bit of a tricky situation before I had my knee surgery done. So it's definitely a tricky situation after my knee surgery, where I have a little bit less mobility. Actually, what I'm gonna do is move these, grab those two that need to be bucked, then I'm gonna go get me a log, maybe two, and do my first official bucking. So this pine here, my neighbor across the street has a friend or a relative, I'm not sure which, but he asked if I wanted this pine, and I said yes, because that's before I had any inventory. And I said, if you could, make them 16 inches. And he passed the word on, but I guess the guy didn't get the memo, and they were like either 3 foot long or that size. I don't think he's not a professional arborist. He's just some dude that got a gig cutting some trees. So story is, the reason I'm telling you this is because he's a little bit pissed off at this family member or friend, I'm not sure which, because as a part of dumping, because I said, look, you can also dump the bush, because I had some fires going. So I said, you can also dump your debris. So he's like, nice. So he brought his debris, his trees, he brought everything, the whole job over. And another, which was fine, didn't do me wrong, no worries. But the problem is that this guy said he was going to come over and help my neighbor with cutting down some black walnut trees that are perilously over the top of his garage. And he said, I'm going to come over at this time and do it, and he never did. So one of those cut in the middle. It's been a good, I think 8 or 9, 10 months since I ran a chainsaw. Now around these parts, people got the oak bug, the hardwood bug. It's got to be hardwood. And I did a test last year with a piece of pine and a piece of oak and a piece of shagbark hickory. And I tested the length of time that it took them to burn. And these people aren't using them for heating their house, they're using them for recreation. But they think, I gotta have oak. So when I did the test, it was completely, unequivocally nominal. Meaning that there was no real difference in the time that it took to build or to burn some pieces of firewood that were equal in size. I made sure that they were the same size. So we got some wood snobs over here. This is cottonwood. Chainsaw runs like a scalded dog. This ought to keep me busy tomorrow. Well, tomorrow and Thursday. Ugh. Fuck this up. Now what you don't want to do, ever, is get done cutting and then immediately go in and start servicing the chainsaw. Meaning you don't want to adjust the blade tension or the chain tension and sharpen. I mean, you can sharpen it, but you don't want to adjust it. And if you're going to sharpen it, might as well adjust it. So you want to wait until it's cooled down, because if you adjust the tension of the belt or the chain, what's going to happen is when it cools, it's going to shrink. It's going to be tighter. So you wait until everything's cooled down. Make sure that's clear. Look at that. Make sure everything's cooled down so that oh, I love that root rake. Anyway, make sure everything's cooled down so that when you go adjust it, the chain tension, you don't cause it to be too tight when you start it up again later on. So typically the next day after I use the chainsaw, I will do the chain tension. Or like a couple weeks ago, I had some free time. It was raining out, so I just went ahead and adjusted all the chain tensions on all 4 saws, and then sharpened them all. Blew out the housing, and then cleaned the carburetor area. Okay, I want to disable. It's 8 o'clock. Took me about an hour and a half to do that. That's including moving everything, picking everything up, moving it out here, cutting all the wood. That right there, I won't be able to get all that done tomorrow. I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. Well, I won't be able to because it'll fill that up. So the goal is to fill the dump trailer up completely with wood, bring my brand new wood bundler, bundle the wood to make sure that there's no issues with the bundler, which I already found. Well, I knew about one, but which I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to once it's tested out and everything, I'm going to take it up to Gale Enameling. He's going to take it up to the inner city, get it sandblasted, and then he's going to bring it back and powder coat it. I'm going to get it color of orange that he has in stock, which it's probably the color of this still orange, not the bright still, but the darker still. Cool enough to put this on. Just gonna prep this, get all this ready for tomorrow. I anticipate that conveyor giving me all kinds of problems tomorrow. Come on, Piper. So that does it for this video. Today was actually a pretty productive day in a small amount of time. I think it took me maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get the rest of that large tree service, big chunky rounds, these chunky monkey things, and buck them up and split them in half, make some noodles, bring them around, transport them, and get one sycamore log so I can try to split it with Easton May tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Little kitties. Boy, you shed.